Hello students, welcome to this second video tutorial of Quick Start with Python. In this video we will see some programs that use data in the form of literals and variables, and which also use some operators and expressions. The first program we look at is the speed of train program. It is given that a train travels 1000 kilometers in 8 hours. Write a program to calculate the speed of the train. Now it's easy to calculate the speed of the train. In this case is going to be 125 kilometers per hour, but since we want to write a program for it, we do as shown in the right half of this screen. See the program. In this program we have created two variables, dist and t. Dist represents distance, which is given as 1000 kilometers, and t is for time, which is given as 8 hours. So we store the value 1000 in the variable dist in the first line and value 8 in the variable t in the second line. Okay, now what processing do we need to find the speed? The distance has to be divided by the time. So in the third line we create a new variable named speed, and which gets the value distance divided by time. That is, the variable dist, the value of the variable dist is being divided by the value of the variable t. And in the fourth and final line we are just printing this speed. That is exactly, we are printing the value of the variable speed here. Now output will be obviously 125. Now we have in this program used the variables dist, t and speed, and we have performed a processing, that is division of one variable by another, and we have used the operator slash, that is the division operator in this program. Now we see a small improvement, a small improved version of the same program. The change is in the last and final line, that is a print line of the program. What we do here, that instead of just printing the value of the variable speed, we print three things here. Okay, now look carefully at the fourth line. We have written inside quotes the speed equal to, then we write comma, then we write the name of the variable speed, which is holding the value of the speed, and then we again write comma, and then we write kmph, which stands for kilometer per hour, again inside quotes. Now you should remember from the previous video that we said that string literals in Python are created using single, double or triple quotes. So since the kmph is enclosed inside single quotes, so it is a string literal, and similarly the speed equal to this set of characters is again enclosed inside single quotes, so this is also a string literal. So what is happening here, that we are giving three data items to the print statement. The first is the string literal, the speed equal to, second is the variable speed, and third is again a string literal kmph. What happens by doing this is that we get a more elaborating output. It clearly speaks of what the program is about and what output is being generated. It writes on the monitor the speed equal to 125 kmph. So it just makes a little easier for the user of the program to understand the output. It is very common to mix up string literals with variables when using the print function to more clearly explain the output of the program. Now the variables in this program have already been discussed in the previous slide, which are dist, t and speed, and we have used two string literals in this version that we have already talked about. And you should also notice the use of comma as we discussed in the last video, that comma is used to separate the multiple data items which we may supply to the print function for printing. The next program we consider is to calculate the total time of travel. Suppose a person travels 1.5 hours in auto, then 16 hours in train, and then 1.5 hours again in a bus. Write a program to calculate the total travel time. Now the program is shown. See, we have created three variables here. Okay. First is auto underscore time. See, remember from the previous video that we said that when you must use two or more words in a variable name, you should use underscore to connect the words. So here we want to denote the mode of transport along with the time in the variable names. So we have written the variable names as auto underscore time, train underscore time, and bus underscore time. Okay, so remember that we cannot use blank space in a variable name. That will not be considered a valid identifier by Python. You must use underscore if you want to connect two words. So the first variable auto underscore time gets the value 1.5, which is the time of travel completed in via auto. Then we have another variable train underscore time, which gets the value 16, because the travel in train was done for 16 hours. And then the bus underscore time variable gets the value 1.5. Now we created another variable which will hold the total travel time. So this total travel time gets the value by in the fourth line, in which we add the auto time, train time, and bus time using the plus, that is the addition operator. Okay. Next, in the next and final line, we are creating the output for the user, which is done with two string literals. The first being total time of travel within single quotes, and the second being hours within single quotes. So we are writing total time of travel comma total underscore time comma hours. So the output which we find on the monitor is total time of travel 19 hours. So note, in this program we created four variables. Three variables were to store the original data of the program. The fourth, the total underscore time variable, was created to store the result of the addition, and two string literals were used to better represent the output for the user on monitor. And the operator used in this program is the addition operator. Also notice the equal to symbol, which we said in the previous video, that it represents the assignment operator of Python. That is, it assigns the value written on the right hand side of it, on this operator, to the variable name written on the left hand side. So in the first line, it assigns the value 1.5 to the variable auto underscore time, and in the fourth line it assigns the result of the addition of three variables values: auto time, train time, bus time. And at first these three values of these three variables are added, and the result is assigned by the assignment operator to a new variable total underscore time. Now we see the next program. In this program, we wanted to distribute 12 toffees among 5 children so that each child gets equal number of toffees, even if some toffees remain undistributed, because children cannot accept that someone gets more toffees than them. Now we also wanted to calculate how many toffees remain undistributed doing that. So what we do for this program is first to create two variables which will store the number of toffees and number of children. So the first variable is named toffees, the second is named children in the first two lines of the program. Now how do we calculate how many toffees which will each child get, and such that the number of toffees should be same for all the children. Now this can be done using the floor division operator, because its working is such that it returns the highest integer less than or equal to the result of the division, or we can say it returns a number which divides another number equally and leaves out some remainder. We can loosely say this. So this is just to explain the appropriateness of the floor division operator in this situation. Now what we do is to use floor division on with the toffees and the children. What the result of this floor division operation, which will be 2, because 12 when divided by 5 gives 2.4, and floor division gives the value 2, because as we recall from the last video that floor division operator returns the highest integer less than or equal to the result of the division. So 2 is the number which is less than 2.4. So floor division here returns the value 2. Now this 2 is stored in a variable by name n. So n represents the number of the equal number of toffees that each child will get. So in the next line what we do is to show this number to the user. What we do is that we use the print statement and pass two string literals along with the variable n. First string literal is each child gets. Note that it is enclosed inside single quotes, because when we write a string literal we know that we have to enclose it in single quotes. Then we use the comma, because the multiple things when passed to a print function have to be separated with commas. After comma we have written n. That means the value of n will be printed after this string literal each child gets, and again we write comma. That means that is to separate n from the another string literal which is the word toffees inside single quotes. Okay, so what we have done here is to print 3 data items. The first data item is a string literal which has words each child gets. The second data item is the variable n, and the third data item is the string literal toffees. Now an interesting thing to note here is that the word toffees as used as a string literal in this fourth line of print statement is absolutely different from the word toffees used in the first line of the program, in which it represents the identifier of a variable. Okay, note that the word toffees is not enclosed inside any quotes in the first line, because it is to be a variable name, and a variable name cannot have any special characters that we have already discussed. So remember that the two uses of this word toffees are completely different. In the first case it is a variable name, and in the fourth line it is used as a string literal. These two are completely different. Now the next thing we have to do is to find how many toffees remain undistributed. So this can be done using the modulus operator or the remainder operator, which gives the remainder after division. So when we divide the number of toffees with the number of children, the remainder will give us the number of toffees which cannot be distributed. Okay, and the dividend will actually give the number of toffees, the equal number of toffees which each child will get, which we have already computed using the floor division operator and shown on the monitor using the print statement. Now this modulus operator is used in the fifth line of the program, and the result of this operation is being stored in yet another variable whose name we decide as REM, which represents remainder or remaining number of toffees. Okay, and in the next sixth and final line of the program, we print again, we want to print the remaining number of toffees which cannot be distributed. Now we want again to explain the output clearly to the user, we print some string literals along with the variable REM. So what we do is, first we provide the variable REM to the print function, then there is a comma to separate it from the next item to be printed. The next item is a string literal, which is toffees remain undistributed, again enclosed in single quotes because it is a string literal. So this is how this program works, and the output of the program is also shown below the program. Variables used in this program are toffees, children, n, and REM. We have used modulus operator and the floor division operator, which were suitable in this program, and we have used string literals like each child gets, or toffees remain undistributed. These string literals have been used in this program. Now before continuing with the next example, we look at something called as expressions in Python. What is an expression? An expression is nothing but it is made up of data items and operators. When you write, actually when you perform some operation on the data values or literals, you are creating something called an expression. Okay, like in the previous example, in the third line we have created an expression toffees floor division children. Okay, and in the fifth line another expression is created, toffees percentage symbol that represents modulus operator children. Now some examples are shown again. X star 2 plus y star 3 in the third line. This is an expression, and in fact it is not necessary that an operator must be there in an expression. Technically, even a single variable name or a single literal value also represents an expression. Okay, but you don't need to bother much about technicality. You just need to understand the essence of what we mean by expression. Now sometime it happens that you must specify the order of operations that should take place in your program. To do that, you must use a pair of parentheses, just as we use on paper when we solve mathematical questions. The pair of parentheses as used in mathematics to control the which operators get executed first and which get executed later is used in the same way in Python also. The example is the fourth and fifth lines. In the fourth line, what we do is to write x plus y inside parentheses, and then we write star 2. That means x plus y will be computed first, and the result will be multiplied with value 2, and this results in C getting the value 16. And in the fifth line we are writing x plus y star 2, the same thing as in the fourth line, but this time we are not using any parenthesis. So but this gives a different result, because what happens is that multiplication, as we know, is executed before addition when doing mathematics. So this causes y multiplying by 2 first. So we get 3 multiplied by 2, 6, and this value 6 is added to x. That means 5 and 6 added gives 11, and 11 is stored in the variable d. So c gets a 16 and d gets 11. So this makes a difference. Okay, so when you have to specify the order of execution of operators in your program, you must use parentheses, just like we use in mathematics. Now we look at our fifth program, which is to calculate compound interest. We have to calculate compound interest for principal amount rupees 12,000 at the rate of interest 8% per year for a period of 2 years. Okay, so what data is to be handled in this program? The data is the principal amount, the rate of interest, and the time period for which interest is to be calculated. Okay, so we create 3 variables. The first is the variable with identifier p, which gets the value of the principal amount 12,000. The second is the variable with the name r, which gets the value 8, which is the rate of interest, and the third variable is the variable t, which gets the value of time in years, which is 2. Now in the fourth line we are calculating the total amount, which is including the compound interest and principal amount, using the mathematical formula which is commonly known, that is to multiply the principal amount by 1 plus rate of interest divided by 100 raised to power time. Now this is expressed as in the fourth line of the program. See, 1 plus r slash 100. This makes sure that r is first divided by 100, which is naturally, because division is performed first and then addition is performed, and the result of this sub expression 1 plus r slash 100 is written inside parenthesis. So this causes that this results in this expression being calculated first of all. Okay, and after this has been calculated, this result is raised to power t. Okay, and otherwise if we would not have used this parenthesis here, what would have happened is that r slash 100 double star t would have been there, and first of all the exponentiation operator would have worked. That means 100 would have been raised to power t instead of the desired sub expression being raised to power t. Okay, now the expression is calculated and the result is placed inside the variable total. Now but we want to calculate the compound interest only, not the total amount refundable. So what we do is create yet another variable by name ci. Ci represents compound interest, and the value we put in this variable is total minus p. P is for principal amount. So total amount minus principal amount gives the compound interest, and in the final line of the program we present the output of this program, which is the value of the compound interest in variable ci to the user using the print statement. Again, to make the output more understandable for the user, we use a string literal along with the variable ci. The string literal is compound interest equal to, which is enclosed inside single quotes, and then we have used comma to separate it from the another thing to be printed, which is the variable ci. Okay, so note that we have used the variables p, r, t, total and ci. 5 variables have been used in this program, and operators which are used are exponentiation operator, division operator, addition and multiplication and subtraction. And we have used parentheses to control which part of the expression gets executed first, so that we get the proper result. Okay, it was necessary to enclose 1 plus r by 100 inside parenthesis, and we have used a string literal also. Thank you.